Many people believe that aging is something that just happens, that as we get older, we have to accept all the negative effects that come with it. But we do have more control than we think. Of course, it is impossible to escape getting older, but we can change how much getting older affects our health and overall well-being. One of the biggest drivers of aging is inflammation, and the choices that we make every day can either increase or decrease that inflammation. So while we can't stop getting older, we can definitely influence how we age by managing inflammation in our bodies. Hi, my name is Valerie. I'm a registered nurse specializing in lifestyle medicine who helps people optimize their health and longevity. On this channel, I share practical tips that help you live a healthier, more vibrant life as you get older. So if you're ready to take control of your health, make sure to subscribe for more content like this. Now, let's look at how inflammation and aging are linked. And more importantly, how to decrease inflammation so you can slow aging and live a longer, healthier life. I am going to start by explaining the difference between acute inflammation and chronic inflammation, because I believe that understanding one will help you to understand the other. First, acute inflammation. Acute inflammation is actually quite normal. It's your body's natural response to injury or infection. It's short term, and it's actually a good thing. It helps the body heal by sending immune cells and different chemicals to the site of an injury or infection. So for example, when you scrape your knee or you catch a cold, your immune system kicks in, creates inflammation, and helps your body fight infection or recover. This type of inflammation should be temporary and resolves once the problem is taken care of. But then there's also chronic inflammation, which is not such a good thing. Chronic inflammation is not a response to an immediate injury or infection, but rather a low-grade, ongoing process. So think of like a smoldering fire. With chronic inflammation, the body stays in a constant state of inflammation, even when there's no obvious threat. And I say obvious because even if we don't realize it, some of our lifestyle choices can be seen as a constant threat by our body. But we will talk more about that later. The important thing to know here is that chronic inflammation causes ongoing damage to our cells and our tissues. And the longer that it goes on, the more damage that it can cause. Chronic inflammation can happen at any age due to many different factors, but it also naturally increases as we get older. This increase in inflammation is called inflammaging. It is this inflammaging that speeds up many of the processes that cause aging. It does this through many different pathways. Just for starters, inflammaging damages our DNA. It alters our hormone regulation, it changes how our cells behave, and it affects our body's ability to protect and repair itself. It also alters how well our body produces the energy that it needs to keep going. Over time, the effects of this constant state of inflammation wears down our body and leads to things like wrinkles, joint pain, and many chronic diseases like heart disease, arthritis, diabetes, and even Alzheimer's. And it's a vicious cycle. Inflammation causes aging, and aging causes more inflammation. If left unchecked, it can speed up the aging process dramatically. But fortunately, while we can't fully stop this process, we can slow it down and lessen it. By controlling the factors that contribute to chronic inflammation that we can control, we can break this cycle and age slower and lessen the negative effects of inflammation on the body. Now that we understand how chronic inflammation drives aging, let's talk about what we can do to control it so that we can lessen how it speeds the aging process. There are many factors that are within our control. While we can't change our age or genetics, we can make lifestyle choices that greatly reduce inflammation instead of fueling it, and in turn, slow down the aging process while also reducing our risk of developing one of the many chronic diseases associated with inflammation and getting older. Now, there are many factors that can impact the level of chronic inflammation in our bodies. In this video, I am focusing on 4 main areas: diet, physical activity, stress management, and sleep. First up is diet. What we eat has a huge impact on inflammation. Processed foods, refined sugars, too much meat, and unhealthy fats can all increase inflammation in the body. This food is a large part of the standard American diet. It is everywhere. Think about the typical fast food meal, loaded with saturated fats, sugar, and preservatives. That kind of meal can trigger inflammation and keep it going. You might not feel it right away, but it certainly takes a toll on your body. But it doesn't need to be fast food. Many processed packaged foods marketed as being healthy can also feed inflammation. On the other hand, a whole foods, plant-based diet can help reduce inflammation. This means focusing on foods like vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, and whole grains. These foods are packed with things like antioxidants and fiber, which actually help fight inflammation way down to the cellular level. These foods also contain compounds that support your body's natural repair mechanisms. So if you're looking to get started with an easy way to reduce inflammation, start by simply adding more plants to your plate. You don't have to cut out meat entirely, but try making plants the main focus of your meals. Plants should take up at least half of your plate. Next, physical activity. A sedentary lifestyle, meaning that you're inactive for most of the day, greatly increases inflammation. Human bodies are meant to move. So first off, it's important to break up long stretches of sitting with movement throughout the day. This can be things like getting up to stretch and move around at your desk, walking around the house or to your colleague's desk instead of sending an email, or even sneaking in a few squats or other exercise throughout the day. These small movements can make a difference in keeping inflammation levels down. On top of that, it's also important to get in intentional exercise. Experts recommend at least 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week at a minimum. This equals about 30 minutes 5 times a week. That might sound like a lot, but you don't have to do it all at once, and you don't have to be perfect. It's okay to start with just a little bit, maybe just a short walk around the block, and then gradually build up from there. The goal is consistency. So find something that you enjoy. This can be walking, swimming, dancing, cycling, or any other number of activities. And stick with it. It's more important to move regularly than to overdo it once in a while. Now let's talk about stress. Stress is a major driver of inflammation, and its impact is often overlooked. When we're stressed, our bodies release hormones like cortisol. In the short term, this is fine. Our bodies are built to handle occasional stress. But when we're constantly stressed, these stress hormones stay elevated, and this triggers chronic inflammation. So managing stress is another key to keeping inflammation low. You don't need to become a meditation master to do this. It really just takes some self-awareness and simple techniques like deep breathing, mindfulness meditation, or even just taking a few minutes to relax. Any of these can make a big difference. Practicing mindfulness for just 10 or 15 minutes a day can lower your body's inflammatory response. Start small with a practice and an amount of time that you can consistently commit to. Finally, sleep. Sleep is when your body does most of its repair work, and if you're not getting enough of it, inflammation can really start to build up. Chronic sleep deprivation has been shown to increase levels of inflammatory markers in the blood. And even just one night of poor sleep can cause inflammation to rise. Most of us need around 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. And if you're not getting that, it's important to prioritize it. There is a culture that minimizes the importance of sleep, and many people have this deep-seated belief that they can get by on less. So for many, getting enough sleep starts with exploring their mindset surrounding sleep. Some other tips for better sleep include keeping a regular bedtime, creating a calming bedtime routine, and making sure that your bedroom is quiet, cool, and dark. A good night's sleep can do wonders for reducing inflammation and helping you feel your best. Now, you might be thinking, I've heard this all before. Eat better, exercise, manage stress, and get enough sleep. And you are correct. These healthy lifestyle habits are things we should be doing at any age. But once you hit your 40s and beyond, these changes become even more important. This is because as we age, our bodies naturally experience more chronic inflammation. But making the right lifestyle choices can keep it from spiraling out of control and leading to cellular and tissue damage and chronic disease. That's why things like diet, exercise, and sleep become more than just nice to have as you get older. They become essential for managing inflammation, maintaining health, and just feeling your best in general, instead of worn down, dragged out, and just plain old. In our younger years, our bodies could just bounce back from a poor diet, a few sleepless nights, or periods of inactivity more easily. Well, most people anyways. But as we age, our ability to recover weakens and the effects of chronic inflammation hit us harder. For example, joint pain and stiffness become more common, fatigue and brain fog become more common, and worst of all, we increase our risk for age-related diseases like heart disease, diabetes, and cognitive decline. That's why focusing on your lifestyle habits after 40 becomes so much more important. Every healthy choice you make, whether it's going for a walk, choosing a more nutritious meal, or turning off the TV and getting a good night's sleep, has a direct impact on reducing inflammation and improving your overall health. And the good news is that it's never too late to start. Whether you're in your 40s, your 50s, 60s, or beyond, it's about accepting these changes and making small, consistent changes to your lifestyle that can improve how well you age. By focusing on reducing inflammation, you're not only helping to extend your lifespan, but you're also improving how you feel day to day. So to wrap things up, while you can't stop the aging process, you can control how fast it happens and how it makes you feel day to day by managing inflammation. By making better choices like eating more whole plant-based foods, staying active, managing stress, and getting enough sleep, you can slow down the effects of chronic inflammation and live healthier, more vibrant lives as you get older. If you want to continue to live a full active life and fully enjoy the second half of life, these lifestyle changes aren't just nice to have, they're essential. And it's never too late to start. Every small change that you make adds up and makes a big difference. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more tips on how to live a longer, healthier life. And if you have any questions or want to let me know what you think about this video, please drop a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take good care of yourself.